using numbers as vibrations or symbols to kind of learn about ourselves, like our natural talents, our biggest challenges, what might be happening in a year or a month. We could even get it down to the day. I'm about to get choked up here. When I was thinking about my own numbers, about, whoa, okay, so my life and my numbers are challenging. I had to learn how to find my own way in this in this crazy world. But knowing that and going, it was part of a plan. It was part of a big plan for me to have to do these things and step very far out of my comfort zone. The life path is the path that we walk in life. It comes with all the challenges. Feed these things. How do we nurture these things within our children? And then also understanding that we go through all these cycles constantly.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Sleeping Lotus podcast. I'm Laura Jean.
And I'm Stephanie.
And we are your hosts. We hope you are returning from seeing a few of our other episodes. And if you are new, welcome. Today, if you are interested in what your life path may be, or you don't know what a life path is, or maybe you catch those numbers on a clock as I have here, 444, then you might be in for a treat today with our guest, Eleanor Gona. Now, did I pronounce that properly?
Yes, you did. Yes, you
okay.
did.
Okay, great.
Hi, Eleanor.
Welcome.
Hi. It's great
How
to
are
see
you
you both again.
doing?
Doing well. Thanks.
So today we're going to dive into numerology. Eleanor has 16 years as a numerologist, but she's been studying it even longer. She's also certified as a death doula, a Reiki master, and she also does mediumship as well as many other modalities. So we're very excited to ask her today more about the numerology, but as many of us know, all of these things play into each other and they work really well together. So some things may overlap, and we're excited to hear about that. So we usually always tend to start with, how did you kind of begin your journey? Was I guess the mediumship, did that really begin as a child, or did it happen later on in life?
It happened at my earliest memories of, I think I was about 5 years old. And that's, I've seen spirits all the way up until about 12 years old. That's the last time I can remember seeing somebody. But I felt them all my life. And then, that's how I got started in a lot of these things, just curious, until I moved to where I live now in Oxford, Pennsylvania in 2010. And I just kept like meeting the right people to kind of get me back on a path, to really understand mediumship. And from there, I got Reiki certified. Everything that I know, and even numerology, I really started working with everything once I moved to Oxford, Pennsylvania. And the funny thing is, I never wanted to move to Pennsylvania in my life. I want to avoid Pennsylvania. It's one of those things that you just kind of know, or you're like, it's in you, or you just feel it. Like, I don't want to move there. And maybe it's because I was supposed to move here. I was trying to avoid something that I didn't realize I was trying to avoid. So yeah, quite interesting.
Yeah. So then what did bring you here?
My husband retired from the military, and we lived in New Jersey for 2 years, and then his job brought him out here, or us out here. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. So you're kind of led by another person's journey, and it actually brought you to your journey, which is beautiful.
Yeah. I was thinking back on like my whole life the other day, and it's like, he's from New York, and he's a tall, light skin, dark hair, blue-eyed guy. And it's like, I'm from California. I grew up in California, and I've always wanted to go to New York, and I always wanted to marry a guy with dark hair and blue eyes. And we met in Germany in the military. So it's like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
What a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's crazy. The only thing I haven't done since high school that I've always wanted to do is go to Australia. That's the only thing I could say that I haven't done yet. Yeah.
Yeah, that looks
Well,
like
I'm
a
sure you
beautiful
still
place.
have time, so you'll get there.
Someday, yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yep,
Yeah.
put it on the bucket list.
Yes. It was
All
funny because he
right.
wants to go too, so it's fine.
Oh, well, even better. I
Yeah.
Yeah,
don't
Do you have
know.
a special anniversary coming up? Because that may be the
um,
best time to go.
yeah, actually next year's our 40th.
Well, there you go. That's it, right
Yeah,
there.
Yep,
there
decided.
Hmm.
you
We
Yep.
said so. You're going.
go. Okay.
So then you've got this mediumship experience. You're getting a communication with this other side, right? Where does the numerology come in? Where do these other modalities come in for you?
That's pretty interesting because, I think like numerology and astrology and tarot to a point is kind of a left brain thing. It's a system. You have to learn all the symbolism and the energy behind it. But the energy behind it is what takes you into the psychic, the intuitive parts of just like you go into mediumship. So they go hand in hand sometimes, depending on what somebody needs for reading or throughout the reading. I could do a numerology reading, and then their people show up. So it is really about me either staying very left brain with everything or going intuitively, and then that can bring in the mediumship or more psychic information. And I do try to go at least a little bit psychic to understand the patterns of the numbers and how they're playing out in their life, my client's life. Yep.
Fascinating. So can you explain to us a little bit about what numerology is, say, opposed to astrology?
So they're very similar. And the energies are very similar. I feel like numerology has less symbolism or things that you need to study. But like astrology, with astrology has aspects on how planets are playing with each other. Numerology has the same thing with how numbers are playing with each other. So the numbers aren't not of value. They are more of the vibration. It's a vibration that we're looking at with numerology. And just like astrology, you're looking at not just like Capricorn or or Mars and Capricorn, you're looking at the vibrations and how they play together. Or the planets themselves are how they're playing together. So I have to look at the numbers and where they're at in the chart also matters because it has a different kind of energy there, and how all of that is playing together. So that's what numerology really is. It's using numbers as vibrations or symbols to kind of learn about ourselves, like our natural talents, our biggest challenges, what might be happening in a year or a month. We could even get it down to the day, what happened over a period of time.
Hmm.
So, and it's calculated in very different ways. So, if we're looking at just um, like a life path, and you said your life path number, everybody knows their sun sign, right? Most people know their life path number if they're familiar with numerology at all. So it's like the life path is the path that we walk in life. It comes with all the challenges, and one person or kind of uh, talked about the life path as this road that we're walking. And, then all the other numbers that come in have their own lane to it. So as we bring in each number, our lane gets smaller and smaller, and that's our own lane that we're walking down. So, yes, it's very fascinating when we look at people, even with a similar or same birthday. Um, the life path's going to be the same, but because of your name, you're going to be very
Mm-hmm.
different.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm.
yeah,
Now,
it's
I've
fast.
heard that all the numbers in your life, your driver's license, your social security number, all of those, and even if you break down the street that you live on to the numbers, that is exactly where you're meant to be in life, that those numbers will resonate with you, or at least the universe will put you in that place where you will connect with those numbers. Have you seen that?
Oh, yes. Yes, and you could even change it too.
Mm.
So, yeah, we have everything carries a vibration. So when you add up the numbers, they all carry vibration. It's interesting because I have a friend named Christy, and we met a girl named Kirsty, and um, we shared phone numbers, and their phone numbers are all the digits are same, but the two numbers are swapped, and they never met each other in their life. So two numbers of their phone number are swapped. So it's quite interesting, and it'd be very interesting to look at both of their charts and see how similar they are.
Mhm.
So it's crazy how we do get placed in certain spaces to learn a lesson or to help us to really lean into something. Yeah, it's very interesting. So our home numbers, they could show up in the energy of the home. So yeah, if somebody's trying to get married, you don't want to, or yeah, if you want to have a partner, you don't want a home that's a 1 or a 7, because the 1 is the individual. They're trying to figure themselves out. And the 7 is so cerebral that they're not the most warm, cuddly people. But as I said earlier, we were talking about numbers earlier. There's so many other energies that fall in our chart that, I could say somebody that has a 7 is not the most warm and cuddly, but that can't that's not always true, because the other numbers and the other vibrations in their chart might bring that out.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Interesting.
reminds me of astrology where everyone wants to do the very basic of their birth and but it can change upon like how much of this they might have in their astrology chart according to
Hmm.
when the time they were born and things like that. So they might act a little bit. So I'm a Cancer. So say there are some things in my chart where I might act a little bit more like a Leo or,
Hmm.
some other sort of thing. So it reminds me of that.
Yeah. Hmm.
So that's fascinating that the
Mhm.
numbers work that way as well. Now, do you know how old numerology is? I'm curious.
Well, the numerology that the West uses is called Pythagorean numerology. So it goes all the way back to Pythagoras. And it's not that he used numerology the way we do, but he did realize that sounds and because he was also a mathematician, a musician. So he looked at all these things and realized that these numbers can be, again, symbols for energies, for vibrations, and that the whole universe is made up of energy.
Mhm.
So and I guess it was him that started kind of like figuring out what is the energy. Now, if you look at a lot of those older books, you're going to say like, I believe he said that, a 1 energy is like the lowest of, I don't know, evolved energy, but I don't believe that. I don't believe that there's any one is better than another number. It's like our lives, right? And if you kind of go with the idea that we come here as souls to learn different things, or we have to learn them all. So we're going to experience all those numbers. And if you don't have it in your chart, you're going to experience it through timing, because we do
Mhm.
go through that 9 cycle over and over again through the years, through the days, through the months. So we're
Mhm.
constantly in the cycles of different energies. So we're going
Mhm.
to learn it somewhere.
Yeah, and making those life changes will change the numbers too. Say if you marry or you divorce and then you take back your birth name, that can change everything again too. So then you may be backtracking into some of those familiar numbers because there's still lessons there that you haven't learned yet. So maybe the numbers are just providing that energy to assist us along as we're growing and evolving.
Yeah. So when we're looking at a chart, we're always going with our birth name. Whatever's on your birth certificate, even if it's spelled incorrectly, we're going with that name, because that's what the universe has for you.
Mhm.
If your birth certificate says baby girl on it, that's what we're going with. Then the second number or second name that comes in, we're going to look at that. Especially, of course, if you're born baby girl on your birth certificate, then a week later, so they actually gave you a name, and then that's your name. The longer you have a name, the more you like that name. Um, so with excuse me, marriages. um, we're more likely to look at it as we're taking on our spouse's energy. We're taking on
Mm-hmm.
that family's energy, not just our spouse, but the whole family because they're taking that last name. So there can be an idea that we're helping their family with something, or we're to learn something because of that family. So there's
Mm.
something with it. Like my maiden name starts with a C, and my husband's is a G. So mine is three, and his is seven. In my family, it's the three is about communication, creativity, self-expression. Wow, we're all very creative, but we don't express ourselves very well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and being able to just talk about things that didn't happen as a kid. Now my husband's family is at that seven energy, so that can be also very spiritual, very like just wanted to dive into research and understand things. There's a lot of it. To me, it's like either the the mind of a monk or a mystic or a scientist, right? Because they're very like they want to get to the bottom of things, both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I've been married longer than I've been single, much longer. So I feel like I'm more that energy now than my. But it's nice to know where you came from, what the energy was of your family, so you can look at your family dynamics, how that play out. Are we still carrying things from the family? Especially men, because they don't change their name, they don't change their last name. So yeah, and are they carrying along the challenging things that families carry, right? That what do you call it? Ancestral DNA, all the patterns. Are they still carrying those things? So it's nice to look at that and go, okay, so how can I break these patterns if they're not good? They're not good patterns.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely. That answers my question of whether numerology could like help with relationships
Oh,
and give more
definitely.
insight into that.
Yeah, I actually do offer a couple's compatibility chart.
Mm.
It's really interesting to see because I look at the core. There's five core numbers. The life path is the first one. The next one is a birthday number, and some depending on who you're talking to, some people look at it as a another challenge, but others look at it as a gift. It's like this is your natural gift. Um, and then we have your destiny number. It's what you come here to do. I'm gonna take a drink. My throat. I don't know what's going on with my
Yeah,
throat.
absolutely.
Um, so it's the destiny number, what we come here to do. It doesn't always match what we do in life, like job, but it's what we've decided to come here to do. And then we have our soul urge number, which I find to be one of the most fascinating numbers because it's what our soul needs to feel fulfilled. Like we're here, we're doing this thing, and I feel good about it. So depending on what that might be, um, and how that plays with your destiny number and your life path number, it's fascinating. And then the other one is a personality number, and it's how other people see you and how they react to you. Okay. So yeah, those are the five core numbers, and there's so many more numbers, and that's just looking at mostly your name. Um, when we're looking at timing and events, there's so many numbers that we could look at. So it's like a sandwich of all these different energies that are playing with each other or against each other. So some numbers don't get along very well.
Mm.
So they could challenge each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That makes me curious. Have you ever done a couple's chart and it was just kind of like not so great news or
Um, the good thing is, I've only done a few, but the couples were so willing to be very open about their relationship and how
That's
they truly felt about things that I think, especially this one younger couple that had two young children, I think it opened their eyes to go, okay, now we see where we're going to be challenged. And if we don't talk about these things, then it's going to continue to come up. So, yeah,
beautiful.
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm curious about, we talked a little bit about how the numbers have, say, like work in someone else's, or how do they just technically work? How have you used numerology for yourself in your life?
As as any tarot reader or intuitive, it's hard to read for ourselves because perhaps we don't want to look at certain things. And then just going back to it over and over and over, going, okay, so how is this playing out for me? How is this really playing out for me? Now, in numerology, there are numbers called karmic debt numbers. And I have two of those. Most people have at least one in the main chart. I have two, and they do fight against each other. So one is what it's called 14, it's a 14-5 energy. When you have those numbers, it's like your soul's asking you to do something, but there's a challenge to it. So the 14-5, they don't like to be restricted. They hate being restricted in any way, but they do need a sense of focus and order in their life to accomplish anything. So when the 14-5 feels like they're being trapped, and they often trap themselves by overworking, overdoing, feeling like I have to keep moving forward, and don't take breaks, that's when they trap themselves and they
Mm,
find they need an escape. They, instead of just going out and doing something fun, having a good time somewhere, they tend to either they kind of lean on vices where they might drink too much, spend too much. So they're looking for a thrill, really.
mm,
So I met a young man, actually his mother, who I did a chart for, and he had 3 14 5s in his core numbers, and he was an
Wow.
addict. He was an addict. So it's interesting to see like patterns of behaviors within numbers, or within a chart, I should say. So it's fascinating. Again, having too much, like you said, about astrology, having too much water, having too much air, too much fire, well, having too much 5 energy, which is like I need freedom. You can understand where somebody couldn't really understand
mm,
how to control this urge for freedom or escapism.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
So you see those
Yeah.
patterns. Yep.
Mm. Yeah, they're really fascinating. Um, so what are some kind of common questions that people really want to know when they come to you?
I think most people want to know what's going on in their life. So I offer two charts or a big chart, which it's too much, actually, too much information. But the second chart is the events chart, and they want to know what's going on. And what's really neat about that chart is that we can look at the past and see patterns, how these numbers played out for them in their past. And if we see those numbers, same numbers coming up in the future, and what to be aware of. So that's one thing that most people would like to know about, um, more so than who they are. But I could look at a chart most of the time and say, well, this career would be great for you, or that this talent, you naturally have this talent. So, and they all say yes or no. And just looking at different things in the chart, you kind of get a sense of them, but it's having that conversation to see how it's playing out in their chart. Again, if you have too much or too little of something, if I'm looking at a chart and I don't see a certain number, if I don't see like a 4, which again is about focus, hard work, they are hardworking people. They're very grounded people. If I don't see any of that in there, I said, well, it's, you have all these great creative energies, but how are you going to land it? How are you going to bring it into reality?
Mm,
So, yeah.
mm,
Yeah. And so it's very interesting to look at those and have the conversations.
Mhm. Yeah, because a big question for a lot of people is like, what is my purpose? They can
Mm-hmm.
get stuck in trying to figure that out.
Yeah,
And so
definitely.
I imagine a lot of that information can just give them a little bit more of an insight of,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, the vibration of things and what would vibrate very well for them naturally.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And looking at their life now, without understanding what their purpose, their purpose is, um, then looking at their chart, it's like I could start seeing like a pattern. And I'm usually they're already working with something within their chart. So they're already kind of moving towards it, but maybe not fully in it, or maybe afraid to fully step into that.
mm,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this also plays into years as well. Like you can share with people like I think you mentioned earlier, like a one, you said in terms of a home, the person may not want to get into a relationship because it's very much about the self.
Hmm.
So I imagine that that's helpful as well, is to kind of know like what kind of number year they're in and how to work with
Oh,
that
definitely.
number.
Yeah, so it's a personal year energy. I do videos on the personal month for the world. It's called a universal number. So I do go over that. And if you're listening to it and you know your own personal year number, I've been doing this for probably 2 years now. So you probably could go back to my videos and find one. Most of them are on Facebook, though, not on YouTube. I haven't put them all up on there. But when we're looking at the cycle, because we're going through 9 year cycles, constantly moving through these 9 year cycles. So for somebody that's starting in the 1 year, it's all about really self-development, understanding who they are and having the courage to kind of put themselves out there. The ones are supposed to be the leaders, but it could be the leaders of men or being innovative. So it could be that kind of a leader. But we have to have the confidence to step out of maybe our parents' home, because it's also about independence. So there might be something like that. It's a very energetic number. So maybe working out, it's maybe redoing something with your own life, your body, whatever it might look like. So maybe trying to change something totally in your life. And two is
Mm.
about relationships, partnerships, collaboration, cooperation. Comes with a lot of intense emotions and sensitivities. Three is about communication, can bring you to a place of creation, maybe taking up a new hobby. But it really is about that self-expression that I spoke of earlier and having deep conversations. You might even find yourself speaking in front of a group of people or writing a book. A lot of three energies who have either a life path or a destiny of three are writers, also comedians and musicians. So all these people that are expressing themselves in some way. The four is about finding structure, stability in life. It's a time of hard work, and I mentioned that a few times, hard work.
Mhm.
Fives are about change. So if you look at 1 through 9, five's right there in the middle. So once we find the stability, it's like the universe switches it up on us and says, okay, we're going to make you a little uncomfortable just so that you expand and grow a bit here. So it can come with some challenges, but it is for you to not get too comfortable because there's more growth for you.
Mm.
But there could be travel there. Also, and that you might find yourself on a podcast or on the radio or something like that. So, six is all about home family. So you kind of go out into the world and experience and explore, come back to home and family where it's comfortable. But there's a responsibility for you to take time out of your schedule to care for somebody else. It could be a pet, it could be a friend, it could be a parent, anything, anyone. It can also be weddings, funerals, births, all kinds of things, anything that has to deal with what's going on in the family. It can also be that you have to take care of your home in some way or just beautify it, renovate, something like that around your home. Um, Seven pulls you back out again. And it's kind of an empty nester energy of what am I going to do now? Who am I? Who do I want to become now? It can come after something difficult, like a funeral, a divorce, because both of those things could happen in a 6 year because it has to do with family. Um, so it could something like that where we find there's a change in our life and we're trying to now go inside and really understand who we are. I do get a lot of clients in a 7 year or a 7 month because they're having this big life change and they don't know
Mm.
where to go or the directions. Um, Eight is more about empowerment. It usually comes with this idea, sense around finances, money. Um, when I was in 8 month last year, I some money got taken from my bank account, and then by the end of it, no, what was it? Um, I forgot exactly what day it was or month it was. Then the money got put back into it. I'm like, okay, we're good. So
Mhm.
it's really interesting to see that play out that way. but it is around finances, self-empowerment. So when we go from this 7 energy of what do I want to do, who do I want to become, it's kind of that cocooning energy. So the 8 is that butterfly kind of coming out of that cocoon. The 9 is about finishing things up, wrapping things up, anything that you have started in these years prior. It's time to either wrap it up or there might be some kind of change for you, but it often is a time of letting go. So,
Mm.
yeah,
And then right back to 1 again.
back to 1 again. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Now,
And
have you ever had past clients come back to you and say, I'm so grateful for the information that you gave me. I made some changes in my life and just paying attention and, happy with where they are?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. People really like their readings, and I feel like they like the timing or experience or event reading more so than because most people know once you do that reading, they know themselves well enough. But it's the event reading that people come back for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I was going to say we are currently in a universal 1 year. So every month that we add
Right.
on to it, this month is a 4 energy because it's the 3rd month. We add it to the 1 of the year. So that's how we get 4. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Now, what happens when someone has their own personal number compared to their birth? And then, like, we're in the 1 year. So, I know in our previous conversation, we were talking about how I had an 8 year last year.
Mhm.
Um, how would that combine to give a message? If you have your own personal year number, but then we have a collective year number.
Okay. So, well, let's look at yours because now you're in a 9 year.
Mm.
So when you're wrapping things up and finishing things, the world's starting. The world's just starting off with this new thing. So that could be the catalyst for you to go, oh, okay, I need to pivot here because things are happening in the world and maybe they don't align with me anymore. And now I'm going to be shedding things over these
Mm.
next until the end of the year, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So each month you could go, okay, so maybe with this universal month of 4, I'm seeing where I'm really working harder than I should be, or that it's interfering with my health, something like this. And I need to maybe pull back a little bit. So there's going to be a lot of like reflecting and adjusting for you this year based on
Yes,
this
it is.
energy. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
yeah. Yeah,
Very
Stephanie, you're in
interesting.
3. So yours is interesting because you have a lot of energy, like go, go, go energy. So I could feel like I'm like sometimes too much energy. And I'm like, wait a minute, you gotta slow down. Um, so I don't know if you drink a lot of coffee. I might back off
No,
on
I
coffee.
don't. I can't.
Okay, good. Okay,
One
good.
cup.
Okay. But for you, it's both energies are very active energies. So for you, it's not quite the same, but it would be like I'm doing so much here, and I'm being pulled different ways. People want me to go here and do this thing because 3 is about also having fun. It's the time of joy. If you look at the
Mm-hmm.
3 of Cups card in tarot, right? They're having
Mm-hmm.
so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. There's a sense also with the 3 energy of people always talk about it like beautifying ourselves, trying to make ourselves look or even healthier, beautiful, whatever it might be, getting a new wardrobe, something like that. And then with that 1 energy, there's a sense of newness also. Like, so yeah, I'd be interested to see how it's playing out for you throughout the year.
Mm-hmm. Me too. And my address, my numbers, my house numbers are 1. So
Okay.
yes. And I
Yeah.
moved here 11 years ago from New Jersey. So I've been in
Okay.
Pennsylvania for 11 years now. And the numbers here are a 1. So, and I did have to start over. So
Okay.
interesting. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. Now, does anybody live with you?
My oldest son is with me right now. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Sometimes it's that we are doing our own thing though, very much so.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yeah.
we're doing our own thing. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny that you have that fun energy number because I think the podcast, we've talked a lot about it, about this being kind of like a new fun expression for you.
Mhm. Mhm.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
that's a cool alignment there
Mhm.
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
happen.
I just want to branch out into, a different direction, but not like I don't want to step too far outside my comfort zone just yet. I'm still
Hmm.
trying to find my way through, but I have faith. It's going to all work out.
Yeah. Well, the three and the five have a similar energy where this idea of expansion. So three has like, let me step outside the door at least,
Hmm.
you know. So it comes with like short trips, little trips here and
Hmm.
there
Hmm.
throughout the year. But a five is like overseas trips. It's like really wanting to go experience things differently. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
I'll keep you
yeah.
posted.
Gosh, this stuff is so fascinating because it just aligns so well. So I'm curious if there was ever a most fascinating or powerful reading or just something in your life that happened with numbers or numerology that kind of just
Um,
like blew you away.
It's hard to think about one right now, but my mind's constantly going. So that 14.5 I have, my mind's constantly going, and that's in my
Hmm.
destiny, what I've come here to do. So there's a
Mm.
sense of like coming in and learning something and then going back out and sharing it. Coming in, learning it. So that's pretty much my life.
Yeah.
Um, I'm also Sagittarian, so this idea of like teaching, sharing. But at nighttime, I will, especially when I'm working on a class, I will think and think and think about the numbers. And I think it was one of those nights when I was looking, I'm about to get choked up here, when I was thinking about my own numbers, about, whoa, okay, so my life and my numbers are challenging because, as we spoke earlier, not having or having difficult childhoods and kind of being left to our own devices, I had to learn how to find my own way in this in this crazy world. So did my siblings. But knowing that and going, it was part of a plan.
Hmm.
It was a part of a big plan for me to have to do these things and step very far out of my comfort zone. Um, to have the experiences and I'm also a life path one, so that life path ones have that. It's like you're not guided very well as children, so you have to find your own path. So there's three of us and my siblings, myself and my siblings, and we all live far from home from where we grew up. The rest live close to home. And then in my own family, there's four of us. Three of us are ones, and one of us is a nine. So
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
So it's really interesting, which is pretty cool though, because we go out, especially with me and my siblings, we go out and do our own thing. But when we get together, we're so tight. We're so tight.
Mm.
And just we
Hmm.
love having our, coming back and sharing our lives with each other.
Do
So
they
yeah.
share in this with you, numerology? Do you talk about this with them?
My youngest sister, yes, we do. Very much
Okay.
so. And she lives all the way out in Spain.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and me and my brother were in the military. So that's how we got out. But again, we're both far from home. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm, fascinating. Being in the military and having mediumship, that had to be kind of interesting for you. Or now I'm kind of curious, would that kind of shut down being in an experience like that?
Um, it, if, being a medium and talking about these things, I know we get the tingles, right? We just start like I'm remembering things of the being in the military, especially when you're in basic training or what they call AIT, which is your career or job training kind of thing. Um, you know, Seeing that from more of my perspective now as an intuitive, I just knew who not to mess with, not to be around. So it's just like, kind of keep your head low and do the job. You're not going to be with these people forever. So it's just like, yeah, that intuition definitely came in and just like, you know, these people you can hang out with this, but not these people. So yeah, it's more of that. In
Yeah.
Germany, though, when we spent time in Germany, the mediumship and intuition, yeah, everything's old there. Everything's super old there. So yeah, we go places and you feel things, and it's crazy.
Mm. Now, was that something you were afraid to share with your fellow soldiers, so to say?
Um, I wasn't really focused on it, but I did know when certain people shouldn't do things. I mean, yeah, it's like, please watch over that person because, but if I mentioned it, they'd get upset. They would get upset with me.
Mm.
I'm like, why is she telling me what to do? I'm like, because I feel something.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking back, it's interesting to look back on this, though, from the perspective of an intuitive person or a medium. Yeah, it's crazy.
What a
Mm.
journey.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah. And I'm sure you were able to take that experience too and maybe connect with some people that are maybe not as open to some of this stuff and kind of understand how to navigate those personalities a little bit too, I would
Yeah,
guess.
yeah. I was always able to get along with the people that people didn't get along with.
Hmm.
It's like, just understanding that they come from a place that maybe was difficult, and it's not everybody comes from that perspective. It just sees them for what they're showing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, with a
Yeah,
deeper understanding.
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to get a little interactive here. And if, for say, our listeners are interested in figuring out some of these numbers, could you explain to us maybe three three or so numbers to calculate that they could figure out on their own? I mean, I'm sure there's a
Okay.
calculator that you go to online, but
Oh yeah, there's so
I'm
many.
always a person that's like, okay, let me do the math on paper and,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
And you can look them up anywhere. And they're on YouTube. There's so many numerologists. Everybody has their own perspective, of course. Some people come up
Hmm.
at it from a very spiritual place. I like to try and bring it to a place where we could actually use it and understand ourselves and move through our life with it. Um, well, two numbers that you don't have to do any calculations really is looking at the first letter of your first name. So that number talks about how you approach things, how you start things. Um, so Laura, you are a three with the L is a three energy. So there's going to be some creativity when you approach a project or even a situation. You're going to want to talk it out. The project, you're going to want to come up with all kinds of like wonderful ideas, very creative
Mm.
ideas. Um,
Yes, she does.
yeah. So, and their phrase, can't we just all get along here? Might be
Mm-hmm.
something with you because it likes to have fun. It likes to be friendly. And it'll start talking to anybody pretty much
Hmm.
if they get that vibe that they're receptive to that. So yeah, that's how
That's
we
Laura.
approach.
Hmm.
Hmm. Yep.
Stephanie, you are a kind of a go-getter. I would say, and I'm doing this intuitively. I feel like you're also a problem fixer. Um, I think because yours yours is a 19-1, which is a karmic energy. And the karma is from as a past life in a past life, maybe that you had some authority and you abused that authority. So there is that sense of authority with you. So in your career, I don't know if you were a leader or in management or something like that, or if people just saw you that way. Would you say that's true?
I think sometimes people misunderstand, and I think it's the energy that I carry.
Hmm.
I've had, like I'm sure many people, different jobs through the years, and never really felt like this was it. This is where I belong. This is where I fit in. Because honestly, I'm not sure if I ever fit in anywhere. I just kind of
Yeah.
went and did what I needed to do at the time. Didn't really
Hmm.
attach too much. Some jobs I enjoyed more, like when I was in the medical field and did hospice and all. But I'm not really sure. Like, maybe asking Laura, because Laura's known me for about 20 years. Like, Laura, what do you feel on that?
I was gonna say, yeah, I think definitely the leadership comes in. There's many that have taken Stephanie's classes back when she was in New Jersey, and she's led the way for quite a few people in this lifetime and even in past lifetimes, you know.
And I am a
And
Taurus, so that kind of
that's definitely
Attractive
go-getter like
energy.
yikes.
energy. Yep. Like I'm gonna fight for, the people I care about energy and that can come into wanting to fix things too
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and feel
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
unsettled with things not being fixed.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And there's a righteousness to the one energy. There's a sense of justice. Like, no, that's wrong. It has to be fixed. And if they don't, if somebody does something they shouldn't be doing, if they don't come, have that justice put on them, then it's that injustice. It's like it just drives you mad. you know,
Hmm.
drives you mad.
Yes, that's me. Hmm.
Yeah. Um, yeah. But I love the Taurus with the one energy because I feel like they balance each other. They very much balance each other. And because the one can be like very impulsive. So kind of like just that's wrong. I'm going to go yell at them. But the Taurus is like, okay, let's do this in a way that's more receptive.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And practical. Sometimes I'm a
Practical.
little too practical, but I think there's a combination there with my abilities and then my numbers, and then of
Mhm.
course being a Taurus. And I think,
Yeah.
I don't know, I wouldn't say I'm a pretty good mix.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. So that's just, and that's one of a minor energy. Okay, so that's more about how, like I said, how we approach things. So again, yours is also going to be quite unique how you approach things because
Hmm.
one has no examples before it. So when there's a problem, you're going to come up with a unique way of solving it.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, even the way you teach, I'm going to guess you do it in a different way than most people would do it. So that's another thing.
Yeah,
So
I'm
then
not a
our
big
birthday,
rule follower too, so
you're
I
not.
do. I'm not really, no.
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
don't
That's the
I
one.
don't normally follow rules very well. I
Yeah.
mean, if I feel, it depends on what it is. I don't want to say that I don't, but if there's,
Mhm.
I believe that there's always room for improvement. So if something, and I trust my intuition 100%. If something doesn't feel right, then I have to acknowledge that. I've had experience in the past where I listened to someone else and it was a mistake. So I've learned through this lifetime to trust in my intuition, and even if it doesn't look right through someone else's eyes, I believe that it's right for me in that time. So there is
Oh,
a lot
definitely.
to it, but for the most part, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So that's how we, like I said, how we approach things. So look up I mean, just look at the first letter of your name and kind of figure out what the number that equates to that letter.
And
And
that's just finding the number that equals where it falls in the alphabet, correct?
exactly.
And
So,
then you add the numbers if it's like past 10,
mhm, yeah.
basically.
Now, double digit numbers do carry a lot of weight. So when I'm looking at a chart, I'm not just looking at the S, I'm looking at the 19. And for you, three is L is 12. So with that 12-3 energy, there's more to it. So although you have that very creative and expressive way of approaching things, if you had another three in your chart, again, I probably wouldn't look at the double digit for the first letter of the name, but if it was one of the core numbers, I definitely would. Um, so both of you have a double digit number for your birthday. So that's a second number that you could just look up. You don't have to do anything, just look at that number. So for the 10 energy, the zero actually carries the weight of like you look at a zero, right? It's empty, but it's full. It's full of potential. A lot of people say this is it bumps it the one up to a higher vibration. So the one isn't just
Mhm.
one. as we know, one, again, we talked about leadership. A lot of it about it is about independence, uh, confidence, right? That one, and everybody that I know that has a 10, my daughter has a 10, and then the name letter J is a 10. So people like that, they have this leadership ability, but they're also more compassionate than the other one. So more that so than the A and more so than the S. They're more compassionate in how they lead people. So they want to, if they're going to give advice, because again, people come to the one as that leader energy. So what should I do here? I'm going to try and give you the best advice to really help you to grow in a way. So that's that 10 energy. And then the 25, we talked about that. So whenever you're looking at a double digit, I'm going to look at 25. I'm going to look at the five first. What is the five? Five is expansion. It's exploration. It's yeah, it's a it's the I want to say the hippie kind of vibe. Kind of it just wants to learn everything and go out and touch, and it's very sense, or what do I say? It lives from its five senses. Okay, so that's the five energy, but then when you mesh it with the two, those two numbers do not get along. The five is wants to be out there and have fun. The two is about relationship, partnership, and that responsibility to each other. So they don't get along very well. But when we make it into a seven, the seven itself is that understanding of who I am, so that when I do go out into the world, I know who I am. I know what I want, what I desire, how I want to live my life. And it's more from, if we do it from a more spiritual place and really understanding ourselves, then you can go out into the world, have all your adventures and experiences, come back and be in partnership with people. So it's when we know ourselves, we could be anywhere and everywhere
Mm-hmm.
as ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not having to put up boundaries and have all these challenges. So the seven is really like the one. I feel like both of those numbers are, first of all, they're both numbers of the mind. They want to understand. So the one might be, I want to understand myself in this world and more of like, where am I going to go? How am I going to get there? And all the things like that. Seven is like that higher mind of like really knowing myself, but not just myself, my connection with all that is. So, yeah. So the sevens
That
are
makes
also, yeah,
that makes
teachers.
sense.
Yeah. They're the student and the teacher. So yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
I love to learn, but and I love to teach. I had my grandson outside the other day, and we were in the 80s, and today we're in the 30s, so we enjoyed
Yeah.
those 80-degree days.
Yeah.
So we went for a walk and through the development, and there was this beautiful tree. I just love this tree, and I don't know why I just love this tree. And I taught him how to put his hands on the tree, and you can feel the energy from it.
Hmm.
So I did, and it's this powerful, enormous energy. And then I taught him how to hug the tree. So of course, I come home and he's 3. We're talking about the tree and hugging the tree. And he just kind of looks at me for a minute. So I'm thinking, I wonder what's going through his mind right now. And I wonder if he actually felt something, but he's not able to verbalize it.
Yeah.
If what was there a connection there? So I'll be interested to see next walk we go on, if I remind him to go over to that tree, if he'll remember to put his hands on, if he actually did feel anything. So yes,
Yeah.
I'm teaching my grandson to be a tree hugger. Mm-hmm.
There you go. Can be worse.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, yeah, that's so funny. Um, so those are two easy ways to learn about ourselves, but it's something that if you play with it enough, you could start seeing really who people are. So if somebody tells me just their first name and their day of birth, I could tell them a lot about themselves. Which they're like, what? How did you do that? Um, but yeah, and then the last one to learn is our life path, because like I said, that's the one that most people know or they want to know, but it does tell us how we're walking this life and why we're walking this life and why things happen to us in this life. And some natural skills that we have, but we don't really know because, as a 14-year-old person and a 60-year-old person, that's a lot of learning, right? Between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing, especially for children, knowing their life path, knowing these numbers for them, I don't like parents to go, you're this, so you have to do this, or we're going to focus only on these things. But, because our life's here to live all the numbers, here to live all the numbers. But it does help you to understand your children when they are more of a mental energy. They have a lot of that energy, and they're going to be thinkers. They're not going to be one to, play sports and stuff like this. Especially when the family is very sports orientated. And we have that one child that just isn't that
Mm-hmm.
way. You can
Mm-hmm.
understand that, or the child that wants to be more active, and we're more of a book reading kind of family. So
Mm-hmm.
how do we feed these things? How do we nurture these things, like, within our children? And then also understanding that we go through all these cycles constantly, and we're all going through different cycles. Some families you'll find quite a few of the members of the family are synced in a way, and others might not be. So why is that? How is that playing out for them? And when the numbers are clashing, especially in a personal year, when the numbers clash, you might have some challenges. So knowing that one person's going to be very expressive and want to travel and do all kinds of stuff, or the other person wants to just stay home, right? So, knowing those things about families, it's great. But the life path number, it's actually very, very easy to calculate because it's your birthday. So the month, if it's a double digit, 11 or 12, November or December, or even October, you're going to add the numbers. Now, a lot of people say don't add November, but for this case, we're going to add the two numbers, the two ones together. So you're going to get a single digit, and then same for your birthday. If it's, even 11 and 22, most time we don't add those together, but we will for this. And then add the year together. And you're going to have that 19 or 20 for the year ahead of the last two numbers of the year. So you need all four digits for your year, and you got to add those together too. You get a single digit. Then you add those three single digits together, and that's how you get your life path number. Now, I would have to say that if you do come up with a 4 or a 22, or a 4 or a 2, 4, or 6, I would actually go back, and if you do have an 11 or 22 in your birthday, um, recalculate it and leave those numbers whole instead of breaking them down. Because if that adds to you having what they call a master number, 11, 22, 33. Some people go further than that. I only go up to 33. If you have one of those, life's going to be a little bit different for you, and you might not understand this until you get much older. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So a 22, or I want to say what, an 11 is the higher vibration of a 2. So we're really going to be working on relationships here in this life. Um, but we learn relationships so that we can understand them, that we can understand ourselves, because it comes with the two ones in it. So it's understanding ourselves first, and then understand ourselves as, and other people being that mirror to us, and all the challenges that come with relationships. And it's not just romantic relationships, it's all relationships, um, and how we are in those. But a lot of these people become teachers in some way,
Mm.
as they get older. And it could be that they want to teach about this, they could write about this, relationships, or that they're just in their day to day, they just talk about it. And somebody listening might go, oh, okay, well, yeah, now I understand something more about myself. So the 22 are called the master builders because that's 4, and 4 is about stability, groundedness, building something. It's usually building some sense of financial stability, emotional, physical stability at all levels. So that master builder is here to build. Now, master builder's energy often will want to have a desire to later on in life to actually build a physical place that serves a lot of people, meaning, maybe underprivileged, or some kind of shelters and stuff like this that help humanity. Because a
Mm.
two is very compassionate, very kind and compassionate. So it's bringing both of the twos together to bring this four together to build something. The one thing about that energy is that they need to remember to ask what needs to be built and not just think, okay, I need to build this thing because they
Hmm.
could get
Hmm.
very like blindsight or tunnel vision on what they think they're supposed to be here to do, but they don't ask or they don't ask for help either. And they're and what they're trying to build that they can build something that they think everybody needs, not what is truly needed.
Right.
And then the six are the three, yeah, three and six. So the six is at home, the nurturer, the compassionate person. So when we have the 33 six, that is a lot of people say that's a master healer, but you also have this creative energy towards it. A lot of creative energy, communication, all those things. But 33, a lot of people talk about the Christ consciousness energy. So a lot of people talk about that as this energy. Now, I found that that could be very heavy for somebody going, I have a 33 in my chart. So am I supposed to be like out there doing all kinds of, humanitarian things? Well, in a way, you might be drawn to that. I'm going to say that's what you're supposed to do, but you might be drawn to that to be out there to help a lot of people, not just your family, not just your community. Um, but a lot of people, and that might
Hmm.
show up again. Threes and sixes, 3, 6, 9 are very creative. They're about expression. Everything I said about the three and the six, the nine's there too.
Hmm.
And
And
the
I'm
nine,
also getting the feeling too with that. That's a very powerful energy. So sometimes
mhm,
just being present, that's your job. It's just to be present in that moment and hold the energy for the people around you.
yep, yep, yeah,
Mhm.
yep, yeah. The nine is a humanitarian energy. So, yeah,
Oh, this is
yeah,
fascinating.
yeah. So it's a lot of people want that energy, especially spiritual people, but it's a hard road to walk. It really
Hmm.
is.
And it
It comes with a
probably
lot
would
of challenges.
require, yes, a lot more challenges in life than you normally would have.
Hmm. Yeah, a lot of these people are very intuitive. Or they just, yeah, they're the healers. They're intuitive people. They're just so that their antenna is constantly up. So as a young person, not knowing this and feeling that I'm here to do something important, but I don't know what it is. Well, it's you're only going to know like later, much later in life.
Hmm. Hmm.
I would say maybe 35 to, around there. Um,
Hmm.
Even then, I don't think you're fully going to understand it. So yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. I would
Mm.
agree.
Now, would you say those numbers, or at least the 33, is a little bit more rare to come across?
Um, yeah, I would say so. Yeah, 11 and 12 or 11 and 22, I come across quite often. Now there is one comedian. His name's Eddie Izzard. He has all three of the numbers in his chart.
Oh,
Mm.
Yeah, so he's a comedian, a very well-known comedian around the world. He does like long, long multi-day distant runs for awareness. He's from England and he's been trying to get into Parliament for the longest time, and he's a transvestite. So it's quite interesting. His life is quite interesting. His mother passed away when he was very young, and I believe his father lived or worked in a totally different country, and it was just him and his brother with his father. So he's had quite a different type of upbringing. Yeah, and I
wow.
think it was only when he was in his 20s or so that he was one of those like entertainers out on the street in, I think, England somewhere. I don't know, somewhere in England.
Hmm.
But that's what he did. So he didn't have his life together at all, you know, for a long time. And that's
And
what
he
these,
has all three of these master numbers.
yep, yeah.
Mm.
Mm. So, yeah.
And this
And it's
is
fun.
why
Mm.
we come in with the veil, because if we knew this is what was waiting for us as we grow through life, we'd be like, mm-mm, nope, not doing it.
Well, knowing that and trying to raise your child in that way, knowing that they're meant for something bigger in life, but maybe you're a hardworking mother that doesn't have the time or understanding of how to raise a child like this, and
Mhm.
knowing that some of these people can fall into addiction or a depression or something like this because their energy is so high that they don't understand it, and it's hard to live that way. So it's yeah, it could be very difficult,
Mhm.
but usually
Mhm.
there's something to overcome with those people. Yeah.
Now, I'm sure a lot of our listeners at this point would like to know, do you offer classes in this?
I am actually teaching a class on the 22nd here in Oxford, numerology, and it's all about your core numbers. We'll go through that. And then I am teaching a tarot class, but in Newark, Delaware, um, on the 28th. But if you follow me on Facebook, you're going, or Terralina, my business page, Terralina LLC.
Okay.
Um, that's where you can find all of my classes. And I'm going to approach the people that I work with for the tarot class. That's called the Three Pieces in Newark, Delaware. I'm going to approach her about doing both, well, actually, the second numerology class, the one on events there. So, and that probably won't be until maybe July or August, though.
Okay.
But yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I'd rather teach people how to do this for themselves than just give a reading,
Mhm.
Mhm.
because I think, sharing this with everybody, and it's not just, individuals, but people that like parents would be great because you can look at your whole everybody in the family's chart,
Mhm.
but
I
also
was thinking
anybody that's,
that.
yeah,
Mhm.
therapists, counselors, anybody that works with a lot of people. Um, this would be good. Even as a tarot reader, numerology really adds depth to your readings.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, we are coming to the end of our very cool recording, but I have to be a little selfish here. And since I am a five, right? You said I'm a five with
You
my birthday.
are you talking about your life path number?
Yeah, I think life
Yes.
pass.
Mm-hmm.
What number would be compatible with that in a relationship?
In a relationship, well, because the fives do like their space, but um, they like to enjoy experiences. So anybody that would be a three would be great. Now, the thing about threes and fives, it's like, who's going to be the adult here? Okay. Um,
Oh,
yeah.
well, I hope we both can because I don't want to be,
Yeah,
growing a child.
yeah. Because you have that the birthday of a one and the five of your life path. So neither of those energies are wanting to be responsible for anybody else. Both of those numbers want to kind of do their own thing and have their space. Um, so who would be good for you? A four would be great for you. Somebody very down to earth,
A four.
loves to also like go and do things, but also they might also like to stay home, build a house, build a home. I always think of like people that, especially with guys, I always think of these guys that love a backyard garden with the four energy,
Mm.
right? And
Absolutely.
they're very nurturing, but they're also very grounded um,
Yeah.
in themselves. A two, I think, is too much because a two energy, they love to be loved. They need the attention. So you're like, nope.
Yeah. That was
um,
probably some of my mistakes in the past. So.
kind of
I
get
can hear the
them.
conversation now, Laura. The next time that she's introduced to someone, what's your number? Do you know what your
Yeah,
number
I
is? Wait, I
know,
got to look
right?
up your
Like,
number
Yeah.
first.
hmm.
Yeah. So anybody with a name with a D, M, or V, that's
D.
there.
All
That's a
right.
four. So all those are
Okay.
four energies. So
TMV.
I know,
DMV.
right?
Yeah,
That's going to
is
be
it?
easy to remember.
Yeah. Four has to do with the government too, so it's just funny.
Oh.
Mhm.
Yeah, and Earth. So yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, I think a
Interesting.
four would be very grounding, not stifling so much because they're also kind of quiet. They're more quiet. They're not so expressive. Um, but if you have to find one that is likes to do things, because some of them can be very, I just want to do my job, come home, sit on the couch kind of thing too. So
Mm-hmm.
you don't want that. You want somebody
Mm-mm.
with other energies. So with that letter of their name, and maybe, looking at their birthday, having that three energy in their birthday or somewhere else, something that matches yours. So yeah,
Beautiful. Thank you for that.
you're welcome.
Laura's going to
Appreciate
draw up a questionnaire for her
it.
next date.
Well, that's technically recommended. I was
Mm,
just having this conversation with someone about the different kind of questions that are valuable to ask people and like your non-negotiables and things.
mm-hmm,
So, yeah, I'm trying to get it right this time. So,
mm-hmm.
any tool
Yeah,
that can help me out, I appreciate it immensely.
And she'll keep us
yeah.
posted in the
I will,
next episode.
I'll keep y'all posted on my dating life.
So when you're talking to these young guys, you might say you like gardening, or do are you a kind of fix it kind of guy? Mechanics, carpenters, all of these things are that four energy, because it's a
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
builder type energy. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I like it. I
find a
like
guy
it.
that can fix your house.
I
They
know,
pay off.
I know, right? I
Mm-hmm.
know. Or just know how to build one. That would be
Right.
amazing.
So
Yeah,
now when you're having this conversation with the universe, you know what you're asking for.
yeah, yeah. Bob the Builder.
Mm-hmm.
Pop the Oh, it's so funny.
Oh, I love
I
this.
wonder if there's going to be DMs now in my social media. I've got the certificate.
Well, police officers are also four energy. There's
Mm,
that military, yeah. I think that's kind of a different energy to me, though. It's very it's more masculine. I feel like for you, somebody that's more I don't want to say more feminine, but is not as I don't want to use this word, but it's the only word that's coming to mind, not as aggressive. Um, because they are protectors, but I feel for you that more of somebody that's more of a builder, a mechanic, that someone's good with their hands is
Mm-hmm.
better for you.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
some good balance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because again, like I said, I'm that Cancer energy, so I can get burnt out easily. But like you said, I want to go and explore the world. Like I want to have these different experiences and then
Mhm,
being
mhm.
creative. So I need someone who's very balanced and not like so hyper energy or
Right.
um
We're not laying on the couch all
not
day.
laying on the couch like you said, just going to work and coming home and that's just it for
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
um Intellectually I need a little bit more,
yeah.
someone to be on my page. So
And that they have their
he's
own
out
friend
there.
group too. If you find a guy that
That
has their own friend
too.
group, that's a smaller group, nothing,
Mm,
because I picture things in my head when I'm talking. So I'm thinking like a police officer or something. They know a lot of people, too many
Yeah.
people.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
somebody
it's
else.
important for us to have our individuality. I think
Hmm.
a lot of the times in relationships, especially if they're toxic, you just tend to blend into each other and you
Yeah,
lose your identity.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so all you
friend
single
group.
ladies out there, make sure you get in touch with Eleanor and let her figure
Absolutely.
get your chart in order before you head out into the world.
Yeah. Anytime my friends meet somebody, I'm like, okay, what's her name? What's her birthday?
Let me do a whole profile on this person.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, this
Thank
has
you
been
so
great.
much. Yeah,
You're
thank you so
welcome.
much for sharing your wisdom with us. And we hope this year's numerology very good for you as well.
Yeah, I'm in my 7 year, so it's a steady, like I said, learn and teach, learn and teach. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well,
With
you're
good
very
things
good
on the
at it.
horizon. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, you're very good at it. So we
Thank
will
you.
post Eleanor's information below in the description. And check her out if you're interested more into what your numbers are because they're definitely fascinating. And I think it's just another tool that helps us to understand who we are and what we're doing here in this world and maybe not have to work so hard at trying to figure it all out. on our own because it's partly been predestined for us,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
cool.
And
Beautiful
I'm
as well.
sure we could all use little assistance from time to time. So thank you so much, Eleanor. This has been a lot of fun, and I will be in touch.
Oh, great. I look forward to hearing from you.
All right. Well, good luck with your classes this month. And again, if anyone's interested in her classes, we'll have that link below.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
All right,
No,
ladies.
our pleasure.
With our Sleeping Lotus podcast, please like and subscribe if you want to be updated on when those episodes do come out. And we appreciate you tuning in this week for another episode of the Sleeping Lotus podcast. I'm Laura Jean, and
I'm Stephanie.
And we hope you all have a very, very blessed day. Thank you again. Bye-bye, everybody.